Welcome to Books and Bites, where we break down the best books in just minutes to help you supercharge your learning.
That's right.
So today, we are diving deep into Dennis Lehane's Shutter Island. This is a psychological thriller.
What makes Shutter Island so gripping is how Lehane just takes these classic elements of a gothic thriller
Right.
and weaves them into this story about the complexities of the human mind.
Absolutely. I mean, the setting itself, Shutter Island is like a character in this story. So picture this. 1954, a remote island off the coast of Massachusetts.
Right.
Ashecliffe Hospital, a facility for the criminally insane. It just looms over this desolate, storm-battered landscape.
It's a setting that's just designed to make you feel isolated and uneasy, just like the character. And that raging storm, it's not just weather. It's like a reflection of the turmoil inside our main character, U.S. Marshal Teddy Daniels.
Right. Teddy, along with his partner Chuck, arrives at Ashecliffe to investigate the disappearance of a patient, Rachel Solando. But right away, we learn that Teddy's carrying his own baggage. He's a World War II veteran, haunted by the horrors he witnessed.
Right.
And a grieving widower still reeling from the loss of his wife.
Yeah, and this is where Lehane starts to play with our perception. Teddy isn't just investigating a disappearance, he's also trying to outrun his own demons. He sees his deceased wife Dolores in hallucinations, blurring the lines between his past and present.
And then there's the mystery of Rachel Solando herself. She was committed for drowning her 3 children.
Oh, wow.
Which adds another layer of darkness
for sure
to this already creepy set. Yeah.
So we have a missing patient with a disturbing past, an isolated island, and a protagonist whose grip on reality is already shaky. And then Lehane ratchets up the tension by introducing the mystery of the Law of 4 and the missing patient 67.
A coded message found in Rachel's room sends Teddy on a wild goose chase. He becomes convinced that the hospital staff is hiding something sinister. They're evasive, their answers are cryptic, and their whole demeanor scream, "We're not telling you everything."
It's classic unreliable narrator territory. Lehane is feeding us information through Teddy's increasingly paranoid lens, so we're never sure what's real and what's a figment of his troubled mind. But this technique pulls us in, makes us accomplices in his quest for the truth, however skewed it might be.
The tension really ramps up when Teddy and Chuck venture into Ward C, the most secure section of the hospital. It's like descending into the heart of darkness, where the truly dangerous and disturbed patients are kept. And it's here that Teddy gets a chilling warning from a patient. Get off this island.
It's a warning that plays directly into Teddy's paranoia, reinforcing his belief that something sinister is going on. And Lehane masterfully uses this growing sense of dread to lead us towards a point where everything we think we know about the story will be shattered.
And just when you think things can't get any more twisted, Teddy's partner, Chuck, disappears, leaving him completely alone and isolated on this island. This disappearance isn't just about escalating the mystery. It's about pushing Teddy further into the depths of his own fractured reality.
Absolutely. With Chuck gone, Teddy's only anchor to the outside world is severed. Now he's surrounded by people he doesn't trust, trapped in a place that feels more like a nightmare than a hospital. It's the perfect setup for the bombshell Lehane is about to drop on both Teddy and us, the reader. And that's where the real brilliance of Shutter Island lies. You know, Lehane doesn't just give us a twist. He uses it to force us to confront these devastating ways that our minds cope with a trauma.
It turns out Teddy's relentless pursuit of Andrew Loitis, the man he believes killed his wife, is a complete fabrication. Is Andrew Loitis.
The revelation at the lighthouse is a masterstroke. It's not just a plot twist, psychological earthquake. Everything we thought we knew about Teddy, his entire reality just crumbles around him.
So for 2 years, Andrew has been living in this elaborate delusion constructed to shield him from the horrific truth. His fabricated identity as Teddy Daniels, the missing patient, the cryptic clues, all of it was a desperate attempt to escape the unbearable guilt of his past.
Think about it. Andrew's wife, Dolores, drowned their 3 children. He, shattered by the tragedy, was unable to cope with the reality of what happened. So his mind created this elaborate fantasy, this alternate persona of Teddy, to protect him from that crushing guilt.
And that's why he's been seeing Dolores everywhere. Why he's so fixated on finding this non-existent killer, Andrew Loitis, it's all a projection of his own fractured psyche.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the doctors at Ashecliffe, knowing the truth, orchestrated this entire investigation, this elaborate role-playing, as a radical form of therapy.
They hoped that by allowing Andrew to play out his fantasy to confront his demons on his own terms, he might finally break through the delusion and accept the reality of his past.
But that raises a whole host of ethical questions, doesn't it? I mean, is it right to manipulate a patient's reality, even with the intention of helping them? Where do we draw the line between treatment and manipulation, especially in a place as isolated and controlled as Ashecliffe?
And that's what makes the ending of Shutter Island so powerful and thought-provoking. Andrew seems to relapse, calling his doctor Chuck.
Oh, wow.
The name of his imaginary partner.
Right.
It leaves us wondering, did the treatment fail? Or is he choosing to retreat back into the comforting lie rather than face the devastating truth?
Lehane doesn't give us a neat and tidy answer. He leaves us to grapple with the implications of Andrew's choice. Is it a sign of regression? A tragic defeat? Or is it a final act of self-preservation, a way to protect himself from a pain too immense to bear?
It's a chilling reminder that the human mind is capable of extraordinary resilience and self-deception, especially when faced with unimaginable trauma.
Yeah, it's a question that kind of lingers, doesn't it? Like, would you rather live in a comforting delusion or face a reality that's just too painful to bear? Shutter Island doesn't really offer easy answers, but it makes us confront that question head on.
And that's the brilliance of Lehane's writing. He just masterfully blends the thrills of a mystery with this deep exploration of trauma and guilt and the fragility of the human psyche.
Yeah, and he also subtly critiques these institutions that are supposed to help us heal. Ashecliffe, with its isolation and experimental treatments, becomes a symbol of how power can be used to control and manipulate, even in the name of healing. It makes you think about that fine line between care and coercion and how easily that line can be blurred, especially when dealing with mental illness.
Exactly. And that's what makes Shutter Island such a lasting and impactful read. You know, it's not just a suspenseful thriller. It's a story that just stays with you, forcing you to question your own perceptions of reality and the choices we make when confronted with trauma.
And if you're interested in seeing the story come to life visually, the movie adaptation, directed by Martin Scorsese and starring Leonardo DiCaprio, is worth checking out. It captures the book's atmosphere of paranoia and psychological tension brilliantly.
Shutter Island is a book that will keep you on the edge of your seat while also making you think deeply about the human condition. It's a must-read for anyone who loves psychological thrillers, and it's a great example of how a story can be both entertaining and thought-provoking.
Lehane's writing is just masterful, and his exploration of these themes is both insightful and unsettling. It's a book that will leave you with more questions than answers, and that's what makes it such a powerful reading experience.
So get your copy from the link in the description and subscribe to Books and Bites for more insightful summaries.